I feel a bit like an elephant who has been asked to speak to an audience of other elephants on the subject of how to be an elephant, but with the added complication that many of the people in the audience either have or are pursuing an advanced degree in elephant studies. For context, it may be helpful to understand my own relationship with institutions like this one, which is that I completely bombed out of one. I majored in religion in college. I'm Episcopalian, but mostly studied Islamic history, and thought what I wanted was to be an Episcopal priest, and I began a process of discernment with spiritual mentors, which led me to enroll in the University of Chicago Divinity School. Unusually, I did clinical pastoral education before I started seminary, spending about 5 months as a student chaplain in a children's hospital in Columbus, Ohio. While there, all my fancy ideas about the problem of evil fell apart, as did most of my pre-existing worldview. Because while most of y'all have built a solid foundation of faith and theology that can withstand the reality of suffering, I had not. In my defense, I was 22. So chaplaincy was more or less the end of my pursuit of the ministry, at least in a formal way. Those months were and remain the axis mundi around which my life spins. It was, by a wide margin, the most important work I'll ever do, because it happened on the scale of human to human, and because, as most of you have experienced, I was invited into the most sacred and painful moments humans can go through. I held children as they died. I held parents who, having lost their children, felt that they weren't parents anymore. I've spent the last 25 years trying to make sense of those 5 months. I wrote a book directly about terminal illness in children called The Fault in Our Stars, but much of Turtles All the Way Down also takes place in a children's hospital. And Looking for Alaska is about how we confront grief when it is mixed with guilt that cannot easily be washed away. All these books contain questions I began asking at the hospital, questions I still don't have answers for, because just to be clear, I'm speaking to an audience of elephants about how to be an elephant, and I do not know how to be an elephant.